Let's go to text 1 in your book. You can follow after me. Dhritarashtra Vacha Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamakapanavaschaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. Translation. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? So, first thing, Dhritarashtra, you know who Dhritarashtra is, right? He's the blind king. The father of? Yes, Duryodhana and his brothers. How many brothers he has? 99. That's a trick question. Okay. It's 100 sons. Duryodhana is the oldest. So here you see he's inquiring from who? Sanjay. And Sanjay is his secretary. Now, when the war started, Vyasadeva came to Dhritarashtra and said, since you can't be at the Kurukshetra battle, he's at the palace. He said, I'll give you the vision to see what's happening. He said, I haven't seen my sons all this year. I'm blind, I don't see them being killed. He said, no, I don't have the vision. So then Vyasadeva said, then I will empower your secretary, who is a disciple of Vyasadeva. And he says he can see the battle. So Sanjay, when he sits there, he gets a live transmission. Like nowadays you can go online, live streaming and so on. So he gets a live stream. Those technology was already there. Maybe now we just find all using machines and so on to get the same technology. It's in the Vedic culture, it's all mystical, but it is there. Technology is always there. Just like the yogis can fly from one place to another, but now we take an aircraft to fly. And the yogis, when they chant a mantra, the fire they can form. Now we use a lighter or a matchstick. So the technology has become more gross in this age. So in the previous age it's very subtle, it's used sound vibrations and so on. So that's how it is. So that's what you will see when you read. Sometimes it's like, wow, it's amazing. But it's all, it's still material technology, but it's on a subtle level. Okay. So Sanjay is able to see, and therefore Dhritarashtra, the king, is asking him, what are they doing? And he's only concerned about, that's the reason why he's asking this question, because the place they are fighting is a holy place, Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is very holy. It was a place where also Parasurama, he killed the Kshatriya kings 21 times. And there is 5 lakes that he filled with blood of the warriors. But it became holy because Parasurama is an empowered personality of God. So in the holy place, Dhritarashtra is worried that his sons, because of the holy place, may be influenced to do the right thing. He's thinking they may give up and not fight. He wants them to fight. Now, looking at the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, Bhagavad-Gita is the widely read theistic science summarized in the Gita Mahatmya, of glorification of the Gita. Right, so, it is widely read theistic science. What does theistic mean?
Religious.
Huh? Religious, what else? That's kind of general. Theist means what? Atheist means?
Not godly.
So theistic means here, they accept God. There it says, that one should read Bhagavad Gita very scrutinizingly with the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretations. So there you have it. You can't just go and take the book and read on your own. You must be trained to read and understand it according to the disciplic succession. Now there are 4 sampradayas that are coming from the Supreme Lord Himself. And they are Rudra Sampradaya, Kumara Sampradaya, Shri Sampradaya, and ours is Gaudiya, Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya. Okay. So our Acharya, the Parampara Acharya, the Guru is Brahma. Okay. The Sri Sampradaya, Shiva, Lakshmi. That's why it's Shri. Shri means Lakshmi. And in the Kumara Sampradaya it is 4 Kumaras, particularly Sanat Kumara, the oldest one. And then the last one is Rudra Sampradaya. Lord Shiva talks about Krishna. These are the 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas. And then there's one Avaishnava Sampradaya, that is the Sankaracharya's 9, Mayavada. So therefore, theistic are people who are in the Vaishnava line, lineage. So they are meant to study under someone who is being trained in these teachings of Gita. And now, when you are studying, again this emphasis is that without personally motivated interpretations. You can't read it thinking, generally that's what people do. They want something that conforms to their feelings, and they want to do if they want to do nonsense, they look at the scripture first to see, does it permit me to do the nonsense? And then as soon as they find even a small thing, yeah, okay, that's okay, I can do it. That's what they do. Because why? Not passionate. Because the living entity has a tendency to cheat. There are 4 defects of a living entity who's embodied. What are they? Do you know? Tendency to cheat, tendency to commit mistakes, tendency to be illusion, and imperfect senses. These are the 4 things. So because they have imperfect senses, right? See, imperfect senses in process. Even if you can see perfectly in a hot Arizona climate like that, if you're driving, you see so many rivers floating in front of you, but they never are there. But still, your mind tells you there is something water there. So these 4 defects are in all of us. So when you have this defect and when you read a scripture on your own, you are going to come to a false conclusions. That's the reason. Therefore, there's a need to study under a sampradaya, a guru sampradaya. The sampradaya ensures that the person is not motivated and doesn't change the message. So therefore there's guru, the sadhu, and shastra. So this is the account check and balance system. If the guru tells you one thing, you can read the shastra and you can check with the sadhu, another learned sages. So anytime anyone tells and you're not sure, you can always refer to the shastra and to other Vaishnavas or principal teachers like that. And therefore you can get your doubts clear. That's how it should be. You shouldn't blindly follow also. But having said that, you must have an authority. The whole emphasis here is authority also. How to be trained under authority. Generally it is said that a good guru is actually a good disciple. A good leader is actually a good follower. And that's how you are harmony. You can practice harmony in that situation. Otherwise, the brand new guy will say, I don't like this. I don't like what you all are doing. And then that's chaos. And then he won't learn, and then the whole situation is disturbed. So the same way, if someone reads Bhagavad Gita, he or she can come up with their own concoction. And therefore, that is not allowed in the study of Bhagavad Gita. And that's why one of the reasons we have this gathering, so that we can understand the same way our previous Acharya is teaching. So if I make any mistakes, you can always check and come back and tell me, you said this is not what they all the rest saying. Then I'll have to think and say, okay, let me check, come back, and then correct myself. Okay? That humility must be there also. You have to practice humility also to say, yes, I'm wrong. And then the revelation will come in because you are humble. Okay? These are important points. Remember this in wanting to study scriptures. It's not just, oh, I have it and I read it. It helps to some extent, but at the same time, you should be motivated in the right way. So, how to study the Bhagavad Gita? What are the ways one should study it? Scrutinizingly, and then what else? With the help of a devotee, and then without personally motivated interpretations, and finally one should be in the disciplic succession. Okay? So you don't have to come up with your own theories. It is quite clear in the Bhagavad Gita. So we read it and we understand how this is very clear. Now the other thing is, the Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the Vedas. That's right. And therefore, if you can study it nicely, you automatically get the conclusions of all the Vedas. You don't have to go and study the Vedas. The Vedas, even if I tell you can go and study, you won't understand it. Because it's written in a, yes, it's Sanskrit, but it's written in a very high level Sanskrit, coded Sanskrit. Whereas this is spoken Sanskrit, Laukika Sanskrit. So it's easier for the common people. It is easy because, well, I shouldn't say like that. What I should say is, when Krishna spoke that, Arjuna understood it. Now when you all read it, you can't understand. Let's see the degradation over the 5,000 years. Now we can't understand all these things. So we need an interpreter, and then an interpretation, and then that's how we understand. So that's why again, you have to take the humble position. So these are nice points to remember. So now we go back to Dhritarashtra. He is inquiring. Now what does it reveal in that question that he's asking Sanjaya? What does it reveal?
Creates difference. He says, my sons and sons of...
Okay, so he has some issues there. So I'll go into it. It's, you all should be reading prior, so that makes this, we can go quickly in chapter. But anyway, it reveals he is doubtful, first of all, because he's asking, what are they doing? He should know they should be fighting in the war, right? So he's afraid. So that's a doubt in his heart and fear. He didn't want them to
get killed.
Not that. He didn't want his sons and the Pandavas to
Fight.
no compromise.
Oh.
He wants them to fight.
He wants them to fight. Doesn't want any compromise. Because he wants that kingdom. So no compromise. So therefore he's doubtful. He's like, is this going to happen or not? But at the same time he is, as you said, fearful of the sons getting killed. Okay. And he is, as you said, he's partial to his sons. Now, both are his family members, but he's partial, so therefore he says, Mamaka Pandavacha. So he calls his own my sons, but his own nephews, he doesn't want to call them my nephews. He says Pandu's sons. So he's trying to already distance himself from it. He doesn't want to have any emotional attachment. Now if you read the Mahabharata, you'll find this personality has contradictory emotions. Sometimes he is kind and sometimes he is harsh to the Pandavas. He has ambivalent characteristics. So that's the type of personality you're dealing with Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra means he who holds tightly also, you can say. So Dhrita, he's holding the kingdom, he doesn't want to let go. So the names are also, it's actually very interesting how these names are given also. Not because the author gave that name, but these names are at the time of birth, astrological and so on, the nature of the person is revealed and so they give them that name. That's how the names are given those days. Now is nothing, now they just roll a coin and makes noise and they give them some funny sounding name. Meaningless name. So in India they used to understand, 50 years ago, so they used to know why they gave a particular name. Nowadays they don't know. So you find Indian people now give their children Tinkle and Binky or Rinky and all this, and meaningless. Pinky. I always thought Pinky was a little finger. That's what's happening. Meaningless. So anyway, just a sidebar there. The last has meaning also. The name also has meaning, so it's nice. Alright, so his inquiry is because he's partial to his sons and he wants to make sure they don't compromise. He's actually particularly worried about the holy place. Why is he worried about the holy place?
Doesn't want his son to change mind and give up.
Not really that. What is the problem with the holy place?
It is in a way very places.
Huh?
A lot of wars took place in death. Killing had took place.
Huh? Okay.
Rightful people will win.
Rightful people will win. That's one of his worry. Pious people will get the right thing. That's his worry. He doesn't want, this is a sacred place. So he's worried about that. A holy place where even the heavenly denizens come down to this place. So he's worried that his sons are actually sinful. He knows that. And so he's worried the effect of the holy place will diminish their potency.
Then why did he want to fight?
Yeah, he wants them to fight. Still, he wants the land. He wants the country. He wants to rule. You will see, I'm sure you have come across people who are fools, right? You tell them don't do, but they will do. Or even your own children, right? You tell them, I don't want you to go, and then they will secretly do it. Even though you give good advice. So what to speak of people who are coveting vast amount of land and fortunes. Even though, as you say, in this particular instance, he is acting like a fool. Later on, after his sons are all dead, he realizes his mistake and Vidura helps him to go back to God. Well, too late for his sons. So therefore, Dharma, Kshetra and Kurukshetra. It's a holy place, sacred place of pilgrimage. And not only that, he also knows who's there in the battlefield.
Krishna.
The Supreme Lord Krishna is there, and he is in the holy place. So definitely the Pandavas have it better. Still, Dhritarashtra is hoping that his sons will become victorious. Just see how powerful the illusion is. No matter, even though you know all these points, still you think, I can do it. Yeah, against the Supreme Lord. And of course, Pandavas are virtuous, pious people, as Prabhu was saying. So the influence of the holy place is fear for Dhritarashtra. And this is in the purports. I am just talking from the purports. Take down notes as you feel help you understand it. And so he's hoping that because it's a holy place, the Pandavas will become affected and they will renounce their kingdom. That's the other hope he has. That's why he's asking, what are they doing? Are they, mediating? Mediation all is over. Krishna tried to mediate and they said, get lost, we will fight. So in the purport also, Srila Prabhupada talks about, towards the end, the last paragraph, Prabhupada writes, as in the paddy field, the unnecessary plants are taken out, so it is expected from the very beginning of these topics that in the religious field of Kurukshetra, where the father of religion, Sri Krishna, was present, the unwanted plants like Dhritarashtra's son, Duryodhana and others would be wiped out, and the thoroughly religious persons, aided by Yudhishthira, would be established by the Lord. This is the significance of the words Dharma, Kshetra and Kurukshetra, apart from their historical and Vedic importance. So, what you can understand in Bhagavad Gita, and you should understand, is at the end of reading the Bhagavad Gita, you should know what are the right action one should be doing for your own personal growth also. What is my duty and what I should be doing right. Yeah. And ultimately you also have to understand what I should do should please the Supreme Lord also. What the Lord wants is the most important. So Arjuna will learn that. Because now he is feeling emotional. So that's a very important point to remember. Alright, let's go to text. Sanjaya Vacha Drisva tu Pandavanikam Vyudam Duryodhanastada Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abradit. Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. So actually Duryodhana is not king yet. He is just what you call?
Prince.
Yuvaraja, like prince. He's almost the king but not quite. But here, because he has the qualities of the king, he has the qualities of king. Therefore he is, in this battlefield, he is addressed as the king. King Duryodhana. So in the purport, it's a very nice purport. I want to just read this. Prabhupada says, Dhritarashtra, who is the father of Duryodhana, was blind from birth. Unfortunately, he was also bereft of spiritual vision. So there's a play on words also. He's blind spiritually, he's blind also. He himself is physically is blind also. So he can't see, and he can't see spiritually. And then Prabhupada writes, he knew very well that his sons were equally blind in the matter of religion. And it's a fact. then he said he was sure that they could never reach an understanding with the Pandavas, who were all pious saints birth. Still, he was doubtful about the influence of the place of pilgrimage, and Sanjaya could understand his motive in asking about the situation on the battlefield. And the other reason why Duryodhana is called king is also because he is expert in politics. Or diplomat. He can go and talk one. As devotees, we shouldn't be diplomatic. We should be straightforward. We shouldn't try to say one thing to one person and then say another thing and then let the two of them fight. So that's not a good quality. So, of course, when the situation demands, you may have to practice some diplomacy, but it shouldn't be at the expense of your spiritual life. One should be very careful. Text 3. Pasyaitam Panduputranam Acharya Mahatincham Yudham Drupada Putrena Tava Sishyena Dhimata. So here, translation. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by an intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. So here, Duryodhana, now he has a lot of powerful personalities in his army. He has Bhishma, he has Dronacharya, he has Karna, he has Jayadratha, he has quite a lot of powerful personalities over there. But among them, the general of that army is Bhishma, but he is a Kshatriya. Dronacharya is a Brahmana. So out of etiquette, he goes to Dronacharya first and addresses him. Now in addressing Dronacharya, he is actually sarcastic. Even though this is his spiritual master who taught him warfare, he is sarcastic. Because he says, look at the Pandava side, look at how they've arranged the army by your disciple, who is the son of Drupada. There is a historical background to this also. Dronacharya and Drupada, King Drupada, became enemies. When they were young, they were in a Gurukul studying together, and Dronacharya used to help Drupada. And then when Drupada was happy with Dronacharya, he promised, he said, when I become a king, I'll give you half my kingdom. And then after they left their Gurukul, they went to different ways. And Dronacharya got married and he had a child, Aswatthama. Now, then at a certain age they couldn't afford, they were very poor. They couldn't have a cow, nothing, no milk. So then the wife said to Dronacharya, why don't you go and ask help from your friend Drupada? Then he remembered the promise of Drupada. So when he approached Drupada, King Drupada, the king feigned like he didn't know him and said, no, I never said that. Anyway, we were young when we said that, it doesn't count it. So then Dronacharya was hurt and he made a vow that he will teach King Drupada a lesson. So then he comes to the Pandavas, the Kauravas kingdom, and then he meets with Bhishma Dev and he says, I will teach warfare to your grandchildren. So then he teaches both the Pandavas and the Kauravas. And for their graduation, he told them they go and conquer Drupada. So they went, first the Kauravas went and they got defeated by Drupada, King Drupada. Then Pandavas went and they captured King Drupada. So when the Pandavas captured King Drupada, he was very happy because he liked the prowess of Arjuna. He has heard so much about Arjuna. So immediately in his heart he wanted to give his daughter in marriage to Arjuna. But it didn't happen at that time. So anyway, he felt like that. I would like to give my daughter to him. So, but then Dronacharya told the Pandavas, tie him up and bring him. So they dragged him, like an animal. So he's a Kshatriya. They are very proud. They don't like to be treated like that. So anyway, when they brought him to Dronacharya, Dronacharya said, I'm taking back what you promised me. So I'll take half your kingdom and you can have the other half and you can go away. So he ridiculed him and embarrassed him. So then Draupadi at that moment made a vow that he will kill Dronacharya for the humiliation. So when he got back to his kingdom, he called all the great mystic sages and he said, do a fire sacrifice and I want a son who will kill Dronacharya. And so when they did this sacrifice, from the fire, immediately a son was born for Draupadi. And he was Drishtadyumna, fiery personality. He was like Achilles, warrior. So he comes out fiery. And then he also gets a daughter, and that is Draupadi, the mystical, the most beautiful. She is actually an expansion of the goddess of fortune. So she takes birth and she is the one who married the Pandavas as he desired. Anyway, she marries 5 brothers. So then Draupadi sends his son to learn under Dronacharya the warfare. And when Dronacharya heard that he made a sacrifice and the son will kill him, he didn't say, I'm not going to teach you. He was a very elevated person and he accepted his role as a teacher. He said, sure, I will teach you. He didn't hold any ill feeling towards Drishtadyumna. So he teaches him that. And that is what Duryodhana is stabbing him and saying, look what you did. So he's telling him, don't show any mercy to your disciple. You must fight them. So he's instigating Dronacharya. So this is called polity and diplomacy. So he's very expert. Duryodhana is very expert diplomat. So he pointed his mistake. In a sense he says it's a mistake. But now you have to repent, so you fight without any hesitation. Why? Because Dronacharya has so much more affection to the Pandavas. Because they are pious people, they are very nice people, who won't like them? So he knows about that, so he's not instigating him to, okay, make sure you kill those guys. And Dronacharya is also very powerful, even though he's a Brahmana, he's a very powerful warrior. Actually, no one can defeat him also. But Krishna is so smart, he gets him to give up fighting. Makes a play on words. Alright, text 4. Text 4. Atra Shura Maheshwasha
Shura Maheshwasha
Bhimajuna Samayudhi
Bhimajuna Samayudhi
Kruddhano Viratascha
Yudhano Viratascha
Drupadascha Maharataha. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna, great fighters like Yudhana, Virata and Drupada. So he's pointing out to Duryodhana. He's saying, look at this army, look at all these people. They are as strong as Bhima and Arjuna. So they will fight. So don't worry about it. So he's trying to instigate Dronacharya to say, you must fight strongly. So he's saying like that. Prabhupada says, they are mentioned by Duryodhana as great stumbling blocks on the path of victory because each and every one of them was as formidable as Bhima and Arjuna. He knew the strength of Bhima and Arjuna and thus he compared the others with them. So Yuyudhana, Virata and Drupada are all very powerful fighters. They are known as Maharathis. Maharathis means?
Great warriors.
Means what? Great warrior
Nobody
means?
can defeat them.
No, them, not them. Means he can take on at one time 10,000 warriors. That's what Maharathi is. There are different grades of Rathis. Is Maharathis, then you have Atirathis, they can take 1,000. So on and so on. And Rathi is just 1 to 1 like that. So there are grades of fighters. And in those days, the warfare is, if you are a Maharathi, you don't fight with a lower person, 1 to 1. Rather, you fight 10,000 to 1. But if you are the same grade, then it's 1 to 1. So they had an etiquette. They followed very nicely. Nowadays, the generals don't fight. They hide behind somewhere and press some buttons. They play games like, I don't know what it is, Xbox. They send all the soldiers to die. So these warriors actually go out to fight. So know the names. It's good to know these names. Yudhana, Virata, Drupada. They're all on the side of the Pandavas. Okay. So he mentions Draupada's name again, right? Why? To incite again anger. Draupad's anger. But actually Duryodhana is afraid of who? Bhima. Because Bhima has a fiery temperament and from young Bhima has always smashed them. Smashed him and his brothers. Bhima is very powerful personality. You can say he was, if the average height was 8 foot those days, it is like that, they were like 8 foot tall, the average height. Bhima was like 10 foot tall. And he could take on all the 100 sons of Duryodhana even when they were young and he would defeat them in all the match. And Duryodhana tried to kill him, poison him and do so many things. So that's not what a king does. Therefore he's not fit to be a king in that sense. So therefore he mentions Bhima's name first because he hates him so much. It comes out automatically. You can see even in this Bhagavad Gita, you can see how these personalities, they can't hide their feelings. The anger is there. And he's also afraid of Bhima because Bhima took 3 vows. You know that? The first vow he took was he'll kill, he told all the other warriors, no one is to touch the 100 sons, they are mine. I'll kill them, each one of them. So he took that vow. Somebody's phone or something? Yeah, so even during the war, they didn't, the other warriors, when they had chance to kill some of the brothers, they didn't, because Bhima told them, don't, leave them to me, they are mine. I'll take care of them. And he was terrible when he killed the sons of Dhritarashtra. He would be like a madman. He would tear them apart and then take their intestines and put in his mouth and act like a crazy guy. So Duryodhana was a bit worried. And then the second vow he took was he said he will break the thighs of Duryodhana. Because Duryodhana insulted Draupadi by showing his thigh. In Vedic culture, the men are not supposed to show your thighs. your dress should come up to your knee. I mean for both sexes. You shouldn't show your thigh. That is culture. Now there's no culture. You can walk naked in the street, nobody cares. But in those days, they take certain things as culture. So he showed his tie to Draupadi, and therefore he said, "I'll break those ties." And then the last vow he took was when Dushasana in the gambling match, he tried to disrobe Draupadi. So he said, "I'm going to tear him apart and drink his blood." Well, he doesn't, but he says that, and rip his heart out, which he does in the battle. He just tears the body, takes the heart out in front of everyone, and then starts putting in his face. And so when everyone sees, they get really frightened of. So Duryodhana is frightened of Bhima. He knows this guy has a capacity to do these things. So he's hoping that Bhima will die in the first few days of the war. Alright, so now we see some more powerful warriors. Dustaketu Chekitana Kashirajasya Viryavan Urujit Kunti Bojascha Saivyascha Narapungavaha. Try to chant these verses because this is a scripture, and if you chant, even though it's difficult, the attempt to chant will also purify you. So don't worry about being able to get it right the first time. Krishna is in your heart, he knows you're trying. Don't be afraid of it. And it's also good practice.
I need a different book.
Oh, you don't have?
The chants on
Share with her then.
There's a book here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, get one with the Sanskrit.
Yeah, there's a book there.
Look at that, you got hundreds of books.
Thank you.
Yeah, so do you have, you can chant, you want? Yeah. No. So try to, chant, it's good, it purifies you. Right. Okay, he's got it in Hindi, right? Yeah.
This is in English, Susan.
If you
I
want.
have.
He has all of Do you have the purports and everything?
No.
So then put in there. Get it? Yes.
I don't need it.
Alright, so let's get going. Translation. There are also great, heroic, powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chekitana, Kashiraja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja, and Saibya. All are powerful warriors. Text 6. Vidamanyuscha Vikranta Uttamojascha Viryavan Saubhadro Draupadeyascha Sarvayeva Maharataha. There are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamaja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. These are all very Maharathis. They can take on 10,000 warriors at a time, foot soldiers and so on. So he's telling Dronacharya, look at all these people. You have to, you can easily get rid of them because you are as powerful as they are. So yeah, so these are nice to know all these warriors, the names and so on. Now Subhadra's son is Abhimanyu, and then Draupadi has 5 sons. I don't know, but it's in the Bhagavatam, the name of the sons. You can check. Text 7. Asmakam tu vishishtaye
Asmakam tu vishishtaye
Tan niboda dvijuttama
Tan niboda dvijuttama
Nayaka mama sanyasya
Nayaka mama sanyasya
Samnyatam tan bravimite
Samnyatam tam bravimite.
But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force. And now he's saying, okay, I've shown you what the opposition is, but we have better people. So he's kind of very proud now. Because as he's speaking to Dronacharya, that's all the other people are also listening, right? So they may be losing heart when they hear him praising the opposition party. So he's thinking, oh, I may have offended these people and they may have lost heart. So let me make them happy also. So therefore he says, let me tell you about all the great warriors I have. Text 8. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha
Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha
Vipascha Samitim Jaya
Vipascha Samitim Jaya
Ashvatama Vikarnascha
Ashvatama Vikarnascha
Saumadatti Sataivacha.
Saumadatti Sataivacha.
There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashvatama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in battle. So there's still more personalities on his side. He's very proud of them, and he wants to show Dronacharya that we also have great warriors. So basically, he's a very expert diplomat. He describes the strength of the Kauravas, and he's also describing the strength of the Pandavas, and at the same time he's encouraging all the warriors who are listening in on at the same time. Okay, so Bhishma is the commander-in-chief or the general of the army, and Drona is his military teacher or guru. So because he wasn't sure who to address, but as I mentioned, a Brahmana has a higher status, so he approached him first. Okay. So, and then in saying we have these great warriors, he mentions Bhishma first. Okay. So he wants to make sure Bhishma feels good also. That's how a materialistic person thinks. He's always worried, what will they cite me or not? Text 9. Anyacha Bhahavasura Madate Tyakta Jivitaha Nana Shastra Praharanaha Sarve Yudha Visharadaha. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. Okay, so he's saying there's so many people who are ready to die for me. Basically, he's already, said everyone's going to die. That's what he's saying. Indirectly, he's saying everyone is dying. He doesn't know it, but he's saying it, and it's going to happen. The reality is going to take place. So he's confident of victory because of all these warriors he's mentioning. He believes in the strength of his friends. He believes in Bhishma's prowess and ability. And so he's thinking, surely we cannot lose. It's not possible. So he's so full of confidence, and he feels the support of both Bhishma and Dronacharya will support him. Why? Because when Draupadi was insulted, when they were trying to disrobe her, both Bhishma and Dronacharya kept quiet. They both kept. Even though they knew what was right and wrong, they didn't do anything. When the lady was humiliated, they didn't come to her rescue, they just kept quiet. That was also a sinful thing, and because of that, they have to also die in this battle. Krishna makes sure. And later on, when Yudhishthira asks Bhishma, why didn't you stand up for what is right? Then Bhishma says, because I ate in the house of these sinful people, so my consciousness was affected. That's why you should only eat Krishna prasad. Yeah. If you go out and eat anywhere in any place you like, the consciousness of that person who's cooking will affect your consciousness. If you go to some restaurant and then the guy who's cooking could be a rapist or a murderer, and then when you eat you feel like, oh. Yeah, it affects our consciousness. Yeah.
Isn't it because of the vow Bhishma has taken that he could not say anything?
The vow was one thing, but at the same time he didn't have the strength. He is supposed to be a Mahajan. He knew what the law is, but he didn't want to say it because he was taking money. Basically, they paid him, right, in the position. So that's why he couldn't say it. It affects our consciousness. Even if you made a vow, but the principle that is the greater principle you should stand up for, but he didn't stand up for those principles.
But every time Krishna and Radha followed religion and dharma very strictly, right?
Yeah, but then, yeah.
At this time only they didn't support. Why?
Oh, quite a few times they didn't support, not just that one time. Yeah. Because of that, they just didn't want to, as he also said, Bhishma made 2 vows. He said he will protect whoever is in the throne. Whatever they say he will do.
Yeah, means like opposing for the humiliation of Draupadi is not affecting Duryodhana or his kingdom, right?
Exactly.
So they could have stopped it.
Exactly. But because he was eating in that house, his consciousness was contaminated, he didn't want to say anything. He says that to Yudhishthira. So it affects, so therefore you have to be careful. Spiritual life for us, we have to follow certain rules to make advancement, to keep your mind pure, your heart clean. So there are certain rules we have to follow also. This doesn't mean because I come to the temple, I can go and do any damn thing outside. No, you can't do that. Because you have to prove to Krishna that you are sincere, that you want to go back to his lotus feet. And therefore, whatever we do outside also matters. So if you do simple activities, you are always at a disadvantage. Your consciousness will be brought down. You cannot think clearly. That's the difference between someone who's purified and someone who's not purified. Someone who's purified will immediately do the right thing. Someone who's not purified don't know what to do, and oftentimes they'll do the wrong thing. So taking food that is not offered to Krishna will contaminate your consciousness. And if it's not offered to Krishna, Krishna in the 3rd chapter says, verily he eats sin only.
By eating their food, do you think he is very loyal to them?
Basically that's what he means. Yeah. That's what he means by I ate in their home. Yeah. And Dronacharya, same thing, he's getting paid by Duryodhana. If the guy writes my, just like you all work in the office, right? You fight with your bosses for everything. No, you're like, oh, who's paying my bill?
So how about Yudhishthira and everyone?
Yeah. What about them?
How about Yudhishthira when they didn't oppose, right? Because they lost.
Yeah, no,
Draupadi.
no. The Pandavas opposed, but Yudhishthira told them to not act. He says, just stop, and because they were so surrendered to their king, Yudhishthira, they were so angry, but they didn't want to move because Yudhishthira told them not to do anything. The reason why Yudhishthira did this is, during the gambling match, he lost everything.
Including brothers.
Alright, including his brothers. Then, out of some reason, Dasa gave everything back. Right? And then they went back to their kingdom. But halfway through the horse messenger comes in his horse and say, Dhritarashtra wants you to come back and play one more game. Now Yudhishthira was thinking, what is happening? Then he realized at that moment there's a higher cause is happening. There's providence is pushing me to do something. There's something behind this. I'm not going to fight this. So let me go. And his brother said, why are you going back? He said, no, just follow me. There's a reason behind this. And so that's the whole reason behind it. So if once you understand the past time clearly, then you see why Yudhishthira did that. Not that he foolishly. He realized there's a higher authority controlling the whole thing at that moment. Because it was ridiculous. He got back all the kingdom, now they're asking to play the game again. And who would want to go and do that? So he realized there's a higher authority wanting him to go through this. So he surrendered to the higher authority. And so he held back his brothers when they were attacking Draupadi. And then you see what happened to the Kauravas in the battle. It's horrible there.
When Yudhishthira put Draupadi on game, how can he do that? Like all the time they give great vows
Yes.
to protect wife before the
Yes.
fire and everything, and now they instead of protecting her, they are giving
Yes,
her
yes,
to.
it's true.
How can he do that?
Yes, it was wrong. He himself agrees later on. But he was also covered by Krishna. And so that there's a reason why they did that, so that she will get angry and then she will curse the whole Kauravas also. Krishna wanted that to happen. It's a whole thing was set up very immaculately by the Lord himself. Just like they say, the face that launched 1,000 ships. Who is the person? You don't know. There's a saying like that. I think it's Cleopatra, right? Mark Antony will go with something like that. So in the same way, Draupadi was the source for the downfall of the Kauravas. Yeah. That was the final thing.
Otherwise, nobody could even touch her.
Exactly.
They'll burn themselves to death or something.
Exactly. Yes.
So I thought actually Bhishma was quiet because of that reason, because he understood that it's a Krishna's plan. That's what my understanding was, not because...
No, he tells Yudhishthira that he couldn't do anything because he takes a humble position saying that I lived off these people, so I couldn't do anything. And that's the reason he dies in the battlefield also, because he took the side of the Kauravas. And Krishna wasn't going to say he's my pure devotee, I'm going to keep him alive. No. It's very harsh if you really understand the whole thing in the whole battle in the Mahabharata. You realize there's so many lessons to learn. And so how we treat each other also is very important. You see what happens to people who don't respect devotees. So you have to develop loving relationship. You cannot fight for small things, unnecessary foolish things. If you have an opinion, you can put it up. If the other person don't listen, that's fine. You've already given your opinion. Yeah. Most of the time, we think, I say so, I must be the right one. Right? It doesn't work like that. Sometimes you may be 100% right, but then Krishna doesn't want your 100%. He wants this 50% of the another person, because he wants to see whether you can follow. These are lessons to learn in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So therefore, we practice humility even among ourselves. Okay, I don't like this. Okay, then you say like, for example, let's say you want to remodel this, right? So 5 or 6 of you in this temple will sit down and say, I want green color, and I'll say purple color, and so. But finally, the temple president will say, I'm the temple president, I want orange. Then the rest must say, okay, you're the temple president, we gave our opinion, so you do orange, that's it. And then later on when the congregation comes and say, I don't like the orange, the rest of you cannot say, the temple president did. We say, we talked about it and we settled on this color. That is the right way to say it. And that is harmony, that is loving. So this is what we learn from the Mahabharata. And then you find yourself growing spiritually. Because these are all minor things, disagreements and so on. What is the higher goal?
To love Krishna.
Yes. That is what you all should always think. If we cooperate, is Krishna more happy, or do we not cooperate and Krishna is not happy? Which is the thing that I should do. So this is how you should think. This is a lessons we do. If you really read the Bhagavad Gita carefully, you will come to these conclusions nicely with the harmoniously. So you can see how Duryodhana can't work with the Pandavas. He was always in disharmony. So you should ask yourself, are you going to be a Duryodhana or are you going to be a Pandava? In any environment. The same principles apply even in social circumstances outside, in your family and so on. So it's applicable. Extend. Aparyaptam tat asmakam balam vishma virakshitam paryaptam tu idam itasam balam bhima virakshitam. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. Because of experience, he's saying. Bhishma has more warfare experience, whereas Bhima has very few warfare experience. Based on that, he's saying, we are better off than they are. But actually there's a play in words also here. Yeah.
So despite the fact that he is aware that Krishna is on...
Exactly. That is what we call covered illusion. Sometimes you will know, I'm not sure in your past life if you have done it or not, that you know it's wrong, but still you do it.
We do in this life also.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Before you became a devotee, that's your past life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You understand? So because why? Because you're not trained. You are not trained in your senses, your mind, so that whenever some doubts come in, you don't give in to the doubts or the ignorance. Immediately you can pull in all the instructions from the scripture and say, I shouldn't be doing this. Duryodhana is heading for death, so he's not going to say, oh, Krishna is there, we can't. No, he wants to fight and defeat the Pandavas. He's calculating all the time. He's got 11 Akshahunis, 11 divisions of battalions, whereas they only have 7. So he's saying, 11, 7, okay, I'm better off. But you can't calculate. When Krishna is there, wherever Krishna is, it's 1. Without Krishna, it is 0. So he had nothing. He had nothing. He was dead from the very first time he declared war with the Pandavas. He's dead. Text 11. Ayaneshu cha sarveshu yatha bhagam avastitaha Bhishmam meva virakshantu bhavanta sarva evahi. All of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. So here Prabhupada writes in his purport, Duryodhana, after praising the prowess of Bhishma, further considered that others might think that they had been considered less important. So in his usual diplomatic way, he tried to adjust the situation in the above words. He emphasized that Bhishma Deva was undoubtedly the greatest hero, but he was an old man. So everyone must especially think of his protection from all sides. So this is how a diplomat talks. It's all a matter of politics. So we shouldn't become political. We should never be political. We should be very straightforward, honest, and try our best to do for the pleasure of Krishna and the Vaishnavas. So that's what we should be doing. So now we go to text 12. From 12 to 20, it will show what? The signs of victory for the Pandavas. Text 12. Tasya sanjanayan harsham Guru Vriddha Pitamaha Singhanadam Vinadyokshay Shankam Dadmo Pratapavan Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. Yeah? So he blew his conch shell really loud. Why? Because his...
I was asking him that earlier, the difference between a conch and what were you saying? Yeah, that's all.
Oh, the right pronunciation is conch.
Oh, okay.
The English word is conch shell. But over the years it became conch.
I was saying in English.
And the word is a Sanskrit word, is shank. So when the British came to India, they translated into conch shell instead of shank. So they called it conch.
Because I thought it was two different things.
Yeah, so that I'm used to the, when we grew up, I was in the British system, so conch shell. I can say conch shell. But then I'll always feel that's not the right thing. So anyway, the reason why he blows, because Duryodhana is talking too much and he's like, okay, I'll just blow to make him happy. So he just blows it. And in another sense, the conch shell represents Vishnu. So by blowing the conch shell, indirectly he's telling you your fate is sealed, my grandson. You are defeated. So this is an interesting sign, actually. There's symbolism of conch shell purposes. Indirectly informed, saying that the Lord is over the other side and the conch represents the Lord, so you're going to lose. So he didn't want to answer Duryodhana's all this talk, it's unnecessary. So he replied by blowing the conch shell. So it indicates that the victory or defeat is not in our hands. It's in the hands of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, who is on the other side. But I will do my duty. I will fight and die. That's what Bhishma is saying. So basically Duryodhana had no chance of victory. Okay? Because Krishna is on the other side. It's already a given. It's just a game now. Alright, text 13. Tata Shankascha Veryascha Manavanaka Gomukaha Sahasaiva Vyahanjanta Sa Shabdastu Mulo Bhava. You can see Tumulo means to tumultuous. So there is a, this Sanskrit word has transformed into Latin and from Latin to English. Just like Britra means brothers, so it changes to brethren in English, Old English. Translation: after that, the conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. Big noise, roar, like in the war, these are millions of warriors there, all, blowing their conch shell, making noise. It's tremendous sound. So anyone listening, they'll get frightened. Text 14. Tata svetair hayar yukte mahati shandane stito madavaha pandavaschaiva divyo shanko pradatmatu. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. Text 15. Panchajanyam Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Andram Dadma Mahashankam Bhima Karma Vikodaraha. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his, the Devadatta, and Bhima, the ferocious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Paundra. He had a big conch shell. That's why it's translated as terrific conch shell. So all these are signs. Rishikesha means Krishna is directly controlling the senses of his devotee. Rishikesha directs the senses of his devotee. So he is personally there. So therefore he is personally confirming the victory for the Pandavas. The Kauravas are surely defeated. That's one of the signs. So whenever the Lord is there, automatically the goddess of fortune is also there with him. It's a given. She's always where Krishna is or where Narayan is. Wherever the Lord is, the goddess of fortune is present. So that's another indication that if the goddess of fortune is where Krishna is, then the Pandavas will be fortunate. So they will also be victorious. Goddess of fortune is Lakshmi. In Bengal, they call Lakshmi, they call her Loki, or Lokmi, or Loki. So Loki is where the British again uses the word lucky.
Oh.
That's where the word lucky comes, Loki. It's interesting how these words are derived. So fortunate, lucky. So all fortune is guaranteed. And not only that, in the purport to the previous verse, Srila Prabhupada explains how Arjuna is also given a chariot by the fire god, Agni. He gives him an indestructible chariot. But he can fight with the chariot in any direction. It's a very powerful chariot. So he can conquer in all sides, wherever it is drawn in the three worlds. So he's got a very powerful weapon as well, a chariot. All these are showing that he is capable of victory. Okay? And the conch shells again, they are transcendental, indicating again they are symbol of Vishnu, indicating that the victory will be for the Pandavas. But Arjuna also has a quiver which is inexhaustible arrows. You can take. So, amazing, right? So many arrows. and he is ambidextrous. You know what that means? Yeah, he can. So, and his bow Gandiva, when he puts out his right hand, he'll jump from left to right automatically. He doesn't have to hold and pull. So that's how he used to fight like that. And then when he's tired this hand, he puts out and the bow will jump over and he fights this way. And they were fighting at a different level. They used mantras. They chant mantras and shoot the arrows, and the arrows will transform into different weapons.
So they programmed the arrows just like missiles today.
Yes, yes. But they are more smart bomb. Ours is not as smart. Because theirs could be nuclear weapon also, but it can kill only one person. They can program it like that. So it's a higher technology again. Nowadays
It's amazing though actually, right?
Huh?
Isn't amazing 5,000 years back actually?
Oh yeah.
100 years back, like, we won't believe so many things, right?
This technology is still available provided you can come to the purity. If you are at that level of purity, you can invoke the same mantras and then do the same thing. But the Lord won't allow that, because in Kali Yuga, the qualities are all mixed. Kalo Sudra Sambhava. That's the problem. We all have mixed quality. We have a little bit of Brahminical qualities, little bit Kshatriya, little bit Vaishya, little bit predominantly Shudra. All of us want to work and make money, so that's Shudra Guna. Text 6. Text 16 to 18, and then we will stop for the day. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthiraha Nakula Sahadevascha Sugosho Mani Pushpakau Ashyascha Parameshvashaha Shikandi cha Maharadaha Drustadimno Viratascha Satyaki cha Parajitaha Drupado Dropadayascha Sarvasha Prithivipate Sobhadrascha Mahabahu Shankam Dadmu Pritak King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijaya, and Nakula and Sahadeva blew the Sugosha and Mani Pushpaka. The great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikandi, Drishtadyumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the sons of Draupadi and others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells. So again, you see all of them. In this battlefield, this is how, before they start the war, both sides will blow. This is all about the conch shell. So let's just do the last one. Sagosho Dhartarashtranam Vidayani Vyadaraya Avascha Prithivim Chaiva Mulo Vyayanu Nadyayam. The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. So they are feeling very scared. Whereas when they blew, the Pandavas didn't feel frightened at all, because they had Krishna. Whereas these personalities became very frightened. You're going to walk, you're going to die. So now we'll stop here. And tomorrow we will continue and probably finish the chapter. Okay. Any comments? Yes.
In real life, when we are in war, like,
Yeah.
we have to deal with all different kind of people,
politics and so on and so forth. And knowing the fact that not everybody is, we are not either, but no people that we deal with, they have no clue about Krishna consciousness and they are totally in material world. So how smartly can we deal with them, because it's not so easy to...
Well, the thing is, you don't want to become like them. Okay. First you have to cultivate good qualities first. You develop your good qualities. Not, there's a tendency, there's a saying, right? Birds of a feather flock together. So if you want to develop that kind of quality, one time one disciple asked Prabhupada, how can we become pure devotees? Right? Then Prabhupada said, how can you become a drunk? Then he said, well, if you mix around with drunkards, you become a drunk. Then Prabhupada laughed and said, yeah, you mix with drunkards. If you want to be a pure devotee, you mix with pure people. Like that. So in work environment, you can develop a quality where people then respect you for that. And so you will find when you have a certain level of distinction and so on that you bring into the office environment, people will not disturb you in petty office politics. They will only come to you for the right reasons. Hey, we need to do this project, help us, like that. Not come and talk and jib-jab about some nonsense. And when you hear some hearsay about, you can easily say, I don't want to get into this. You have to practice also. But if you like to talk like that, then... So there are many ways, but you have to develop qualities. Now the way you all develop good qualities starts with association and chanting. Particularly for all of us, the most important thing is chanting. So all of you should chant, hear your chanting very nicely. Regardless of how many rounds you do, but you have to chant nicely. When you chant nicely, all the bad qualities should go away. And the goodness in your heart will come up automatically. So practice that. Daily try to chant. Minimum you all should be chanting. How many are you chanting?
2.
Not good. You should be chanting at least 4 minimum. How many years you've been coming here?
1 year.
1 year. Okay. So, and how old are you now?
42.
42. You should actually come to 16 rounds in 6 months. There's no excuse. Either you want Krishna or you want nonsense. Right? No,
I'm
there's
not
no
sure on that
excuse.
actually, because earlier it was 64 rounds.
No, don't listen. You don't talk about earlier.
See, I'm talking about my comfort level, so I'm just giving all these excuses.
I know, exactly my point. Don't give me
I
the
do agree
excuse.
with that, but
Okay, remember,
I think I want to just go slowly, like,
yeah, Acharya, for this age, is Srila Prabhupada. He has modified all the rules to make it as easy as possible. So he has set the number 16. So I'll tell you chant 4 rounds every day. The minimum you should be doing 4. And then from that you double.
What is 4 rounds?
Oh, I didn't bring my bead back. Anyone has bead bags? You go 108 rounds, 4 times. That's 4 rounds.
Mahamantra.
Mahamantra. So minimum for a beginner, adult like you all should be 4 rounds. If you are like that boy in the back, then I'll say 1, 2 rounds. Okay. So you do that for, by the time you're in 6 months, you should be able to hit 16 rounds.
Yeah, that's another problem, challenge, the time management.
Yeah, that means you're not good at your time management.
We try to do so many things, in our professional life. That's
2 hours of 24 hours, you can't give to Krishna. 22 hours you're doing nonsense.
I have to get like 4 hours sleep, in 24 hours. So,
Then you have a serious time management problem. Okay, Srila Prabhupada said he would chant 4 rounds before breakfast, 4 rounds after breakfast, 4 rounds before dinner, 4 rounds after dinner. So that's doable. While you wait for your wife to cook, you can chant.
What would cause somebody to go from having good qualities that Krishna was looking for, to all of a sudden, drastically, within a year's time, totally be the opposite, and no longer have those good qualities? What would cause such a drastic change?
If someone was following Krishna and then giving up, then usually it's offenses. That's the main reason. They offend the devotees, or they offend some senior Vaishnavas or the deities themselves. And so the Lord takes away all this. And then the Lord, to help them, sometimes will take them out of the temple environment for their own good, so they don't become more offensive. That's one of them. The other thing is association. Like I said, if you associate with people who are not serious, then you also become not so serious. It's like in the Mahabharata you read how the forces, the opposing forces, they start following. Even though some of them knew it was wrong, they still sided with Duryodhana for the wrong reasons. And then they had to pay the price.
But isn't Krishna testing sometimes?
Yeah, but Krishna will test if you are at a very high level. Krishna is not going to test you when you are just starting off. He'll test through the devotees.
I'm not talking about myself actually, I was just trying to not answer, just trying to
suggest.
Not just a point of view of mine.
Oh, yeah, that's a possibility also.
Because even I've seen some of the devotees, when they reach higher level, how come they come down?
Yeah. Basically, usually it's offenses are there.
I'm not sure I'm a devotee, but I'm just trying to.
Most of us are practicing to become devotees. We cannot claim to be devotees, because to be devoted means truly we don't have any other agenda. So we are all practicing, and we should practice the best. If you don't do it now, like I'm encouraging you to chant 16 now, if you don't do it, if you leave your body tomorrow, then you lost the opportunity. You understand the seriousness of the matter? We all don't take it for granted. Next year I'll okay.
But that belief should come into you, right? That mercy should be coming.
Yeah, so I'm giving you the mercy. Right? Who else will give? Devotee is the only one who will give you. No one you go outside who's going to tell you to be spiritual. Right? Who? They'll all try to pull you down.
No one does that actually.
Exactly. So, this is mercy. This is coming through Srila Prabhupada, we are giving you. So use the opportunity. And then you help others become fortunate. This is good fortune. When you take out devotional service, two things will happen. Kleshagni and Shubhada. Kleshagni means all the deep-seated anarthas in your heart will be burnt away. And then Shubhada, you will become auspicious for anyone you meet, because you are carrying Krishna in your heart. That's why I'm encouraging you all to chant. Chant nicely, then eventually take initiation. Go on the altar, the Lord is waiting for you. And do service. That is intimate service. Where can you get this? Srila Prabhupada has given us this opportunity. Don't wait. Don't lose the opportunity. Don't worry about anything, because Krishna can fix your life easily for you. But you must take the step first. For every step you take, Krishna takes 10 steps toward you. Prabhupada says that. And that is the flag. Here the flag is described as Kapi Dwaja. Kapi means the monkey and Dwaja is the flag. So therefore it's related to Hanuman. So So Hanuman promised that he will be at the battlefield, but he said he won't fight. Actually, single-handedly, he probably defeated the whole, all the whole Kauravas. But he said he will scream, roar from the flag. So every time Arjuna is riding the chariot, he will roar, and then people who hear, they get scared in the battlefield. So that was his help to the Pandavas. So having Hanuman on your side means you are also assured of victory. So these are all signs to say that Pandavas will definitely be victorious. So that's something we have to understand. At this point in the battlefield, the whole place is surcharged. Everyone is ready to fight. The whole world is now waiting for this battle to take place. Everyone is wanting to get into it. Two armies were in formation, the conch shells have been blown, and they're all in anticipation of this charge. Basically, that's what we are seeing now. So then, at that moment, Arjuna is looking, he wants to see, okay, who are these people who have come to fight with us? I want to look at them before I fight. So therefore, we see from text 21 to 27, we see who's on the opposing side that Arjuna feels affected by. And we also see the mood of the Supreme Lord towards his devotee. So basically this is what you'll see from text 21 to 27. Arjuna Uvacha Senayoruvayormadhye Ratam Sakayamichatita Yavarita Niriksheham Yudho Kamanavastita Aimaya Sahayukavyam Asmin Rana Samudyame. Translation: Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies, so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. So he is now wanting to know who are his enemies actually. Who are these people? Who are the leading men on the opposition who want to please the son of Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana. He wants to know who are these people. So generally if you want to fight, you want to know your opposition, you want to size them up first. Then you will contemplate on how you are going to defeat them. So the same way as a Kshatriya, he also wanted to make sure who are these people on the opposition. This is the first appearance of Krishna also in this Bhagavad Gita. So, and what is he doing? He is the charioteer. The Supreme Lord of the entire creation, and he is sitting there in a chariot. Let's see. Let's see the amazing thing. This personality created everybody there, the entire universe, and he's sitting there as a charioteer. He's taking a very low position in the battlefield. Now, he's doing it for who? For his friend, for his devotee, Arjuna. So that's one of the key elements of the Lord that he shows to his devotees. So that affection is known as Bhakta Vatsala. That means he is always dear to his devotees, always loving to his devotees. So that's what you're seeing here. So he calls Krishna Achyuta. Achyuta means what? I can't hear. Infallible, yes. Infallible, Infallible means never fails. And in this particular circumstance, he never fails in his affection for his devotees. That is, and the other thing is, he did not hesitate to be Arjuna's charioteer. Arjuna said, drive me here, he immediately drives. So that's also his quality. He doesn't fail. When we tell someone, can you go and get something, they'll say, why I have to get for you? We think in our brain now. Who are you to tell me? So that's the difference between the Supreme Lord who wants to serve. He's teaching us how we should also cultivate such mood, such qualities. It's a very important aspect. When you read the Bhagavad Gita, you see characters, but at the same time there are lessons for us to imbibe also. Good things and things that we shouldn't do, things that we should do and shouldn't do. So here you see how the Lord is immediately taking the chariot, no problem, I'll drive. He didn't say, I am the Supreme Lord. Dude, what are you trying to tell me? He's not going to do that. He said, yes, I will drive you immediately. So that's the beauty between someone who understands how to behave in their position. Right? For us, when we're in any situation, we're always thinking we are the controller. We should tell another person, not that person tell us. Right? Even when we are working in our environment, wherever we are, when the boss tells us, internally we hate them. Externally we are like, oh yes, you know. So those things means we have some issues, you know. We need to get rid of those kind of bad qualities. It's in all of us. So the Bhagavad Gita allows us to examine ourselves and then transcend those bad qualities. That's the idea behind the whole thing. Alright, so then let's continue. He's still Rishikesh. Huh? That means he's still in control of the senses. So no one can challenge him also, in one sense. He's still the Supreme Lord, Rishikesh. Alright, so let's read the next verse and then we'll discuss a little bit more. Yotsyamanam aveksheham yae tetra samagataha atrastrasya durbuddhe yuddhe priya chikishava. Translation: let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. So he wants to see who is supporting this evil person. Very important point to know, because he's making it very clear that Duryodhana is very evil. He knows it also. It's not later on when he doesn't want to fight, it doesn't mean that he thinks Duryodhana is a nice person. No. That's a different reason why he says he doesn't want to fight. Particularly here you see, he understands the position of Duryodhana. It's as Prabhupada says in the purport, it was an open secret that Duryodhana wanted to usurp the kingdom of the Pandavas by evil plans. Okay, so he did terrible things. Huh? He tried to, in fact he didn't try, he poisoned Bhima. And fortunately Bhima came across some nagas and they bit him, and their poison counteracted the poison he had, so he survived. And then they also tried to burn their house they were living in. And then he tried to steal their land, which he did in one sense. Then he tried to also take their wife. So many cruel things he tried to do, one after another. From the very moment they met, Duryodhana planned to kill them. But they were young. So therefore, he is said to be Durbuddhe, evil-minded.
The push text, he said that Dhritarashtra was saying, he was saying, these are my sons, and then those are not my nieces, they were saying Pandu sons. Even here, he was distancing himself from Pandu sons.
Yes.
But here, again, Arjuna does the same thing. He's not saying he's my cousin or my brother or anything like that. He's saying the son of Dhritarashtra. Why is he saying that?
No, he is saying, I want to see this evil person. That's the thing. They have already declared war now. Yeah. He doesn't want to. Later on, his mood changes. You can see. Yeah. He doesn't want to address him because this person had tried to kill them so much. Why would he want to even address this person? Whereas Dhritarashtra is supposed to be neutral in one sense, and he wasn't. He supported his son to kill the Pandavas. So he instigated the enmity between the two of them. So that was wrong for someone who's supposed to be in a higher position, supposed to be guiding them. He didn't do that. So therefore it was not proper for Dhritarashtra to see it as a superior. Whereas among equals, as a Kshatriya, you will see each other as, you call names at each other also.
This is a question of equality.
Yes. So then Prabhupada says, if you look, all persons who had joined the side of Duryodhana must have been birds of the same feather. Okay, that means they all are same. Okay. Means they are
all evil-minded.
Evil-minded also.
Devils.
Evil. And it's a common trend also in society, you see. Particularly you can even see in the political arena also, right? The parties they have the same kind of ideology and they don't budge from their ideology. So in the same way, birds of feathers flock together, they say. And Prabhupada also wants to give us an insight that he wanted to see who these people are, but he didn't want to propose a negotiation and no more. This is it. I just want to see who these guys are and then we'll fight. Now Arjuna wanted to see also because in the beginning they didn't want to fight, the Pandavas didn't want to fight. But they were forced into this battle, so he wanted to see them also. And he wanted to see how much these people didn't like them also. Now for Kshatriya, you cannot go to a battlefield and feel, everything is okay. You cannot fight like that. You must be angry. So therefore he wanted to see them and say, I want to get you guys. Yeah. Otherwise you cannot be a Kshatriya. And he wanted to also, as a general, he also wanted to estimate the strength of the opposition so that he can prepare and arrange his forces accordingly. But at no point he had any intention of proposing a peace or compromise or negotiation. Okay, so these are important points to understand. Okay, text 24. And then we go back to Sanjaya. Now, this is part of the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita, right? It's a section in the Bhishma Parva, I believe. Yeah. Who is speaking the Mahabharata?
Bhishma.
Huh?
Yes, Sanjay, right?
No, the Mahabharata itself.
Yes.
No, Vyasa is not. Who is it? Now, Janamejaya is asking, no? Right? And who's the sage who's giving him the story? I can't remember. Anyway, Janamejaya and this sage is speaking, and within them, this is like a nested loop, you know. So, inside the story of, you see, at this section, you see, Sanjaya is talking to Dhritarashtra, and within that discussion, you see, Krishna is talking to Arjuna. So it's a nested inside. Alright, so text 24. Sanjay Vacha Evam Mukto Rishikesho Gudakeshena Bharata Senayorubayor Madhye Stapayitva Ratottamam. Sanjay said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. So he asked Krishna, take me to the middle, I want to see who's there. So now Sanjay is seeing life and he's telling Dhritarashtra what's happening. So here, particularly Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha. Gudakesha means, as Prabhupada explains, he who has conquered sleep. Yes. Gudaka means sleep. Prabhupada says, one who conquers sleep is called Gudakesha. And then Prabhupada describes, and this is important to know, sleep also means ignorance. So Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance. This means he's very proficient in some yoga practice also. Arjuna can go without sleep. Can we do that? No. Maybe one day, maybe. For 24 hours we may tolerate. After that we might just go boom. But Arjuna can continue like that as long as he wants. This is called sense control. That means Arjuna is also not an ordinary person. Right? So don't think that he is an ordinary person. Yeah. He is a person who can control his senses very, very carefully and correctly. Unlike us. So Arjuna knows how to use his emotions as a Kshatriya as well as a devotee. Whereas if we are not trained in all the sadhana bhakti, we will be in chaos 24/7. So analyze that. This person is not an ordinary person. He is a very highly elevated person. Okay? And we should actually pray to even Arjuna, please give some of your mercy so that I can also control my senses. And this person is in the middle of the battlefield. So just imagine, even if you can imagine, it's an amazing feeling. Have you ever been to a stadium with hundreds and thousands of people? You can see how the emotion is, right? And here there are millions of people in the world. So because he is so much in sense control, he is always focused on who? Krishna. He's focused on Krishna. That's the other point you should understand. He's not like thinking of something or whatever. No, he's thinking of his dearmost friend Krishna at all times. Okay? And Prabhupada says he could do this because of his friendship with Krishna. So in the same way, if we want to make advancement in our spiritual life, we must be connected with Krishna. Whatever activities you do, you must try to connect it with Krishna. As you read the Bhagavad Gita, you will see Krishna will describe himself as I am the stars, I am the moon, I am the sun, and so on. So next time when you see the moon, you will remember Krishna. So you're connecting yourself with Krishna. And then when you meet someone and says, isn't that moon beautiful? And you're thinking of Krishna, you're connecting them with Krishna also. Isn't that fantastic? So this is how you help others, by your connection to Krishna. And you can see the Lord created such a beautiful moon. Of course in Arizona you can say it's a wonderful sunny day. And then you're thinking about Krishna. So they can say the Lord created such a wonderful day today, and you're connecting them with Krishna, because then they'll think, oh, the Lord created. So yeah, so like this we try to connect ourselves with Krishna. And if you are very proficient, Prabhupada says, you cannot forget Krishna even for a moment. So there's a saying, what? Smartavya satatam Vishnu Vishmartavya na jatusi. This is a rule in the Puranas or in the Vedas. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So this is how you will always be focused on Krishna. So this is part of our lesson that we learn from the Bhagavad Gita also. Am I thinking of Krishna every time? Oh no, I'm not. I've got so many problems to think. So I can't think about Krishna. But no, Krishna says think about Him and He will come and give you the ability to solve your problems, so that you can continue thinking about Him. So then Prabhupada explains, either in waking or in sleep, a devotee of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, form, qualities and pastimes. So, like most of you, when you go to bed, what do you do before you go to sleep?
Pray.
Do you pray? How many of you pray? How many of you don't pray? Yeah, good. You're honest. Honesty is a sign of some Brahminical qualities. So be honest with yourselves. Okay? Yeah. So yeah, before you go to bed, you pray, or you listen, or you read the Bhagavad Gita, or you listen to some nice lectures of Krishna, or Prabhupada singing in the background, and then you go to bed. So that should be the consciousness. So when you sleep, your consciousness, you're not thinking about, I got this deadline and this and that, and how you can sleep. Right? Deadlines will always be there, whether you are alive or dead. Deadlines, that's what they are, they'll kill you like that. So don't worry about those things. Focus on Krishna in your day-to-day. At least before you sleep, read for 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. Either Krishna book. How many of you have Krishna book? Those who don't have, get the Krishna book. Beautiful pastimes of Krishna. So if you read that, you can dream about Krishna. Okay, so that's how you're going to practice your life also, to focus on Krishna. Okay. And Prabhupada says, thus a devotee can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. This is called Krishna consciousness or samadhi. Samadhi. At all stages, the mind is in equilibrium, focused on Krishna. Okay? That's what we are trying to do. And finally, Krishna actually knows what Arjuna's problem is. Because he is the controller of senses. He's in the heart of Arjuna, and he understands why Arjuna is going to the middle of the both armies. So he said, okay, let's go. So now we'll see text 25. Text 25. Bhishma Drona Pramukata Sarvesham cha Mahikshitam Vachapata Pasyaitam Samavetan Kuruniti. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. So he's just telling Arjuna, look, this is what you want to see. So about millions, hundreds of millions. It is said in this battle, 640 million people died. It's a big war. That's like almost more than 500 million people. That means not just the Kshatriyas, their servants, the cooks, so many people there. In this war, they fight, they have a certain system. The daytime they fight, and then when the sun sets, they stop and they are like friends. They'll sit together, take prasad and all. And the next day, again when sunrise, they'll fight each other. So that was the code. The etiquette was so nice. So therefore they brought all the servants and everyone there. So it's like a whole city there. So it's a different concept of warfare, totally. Nowadays you can cheat or whatever, you kill the guy with a smart bomb or whatever, or you go blow the person up. Totally different. So yeah, there are hundreds and millions of warriors and servants and so on. So Krishna wanted him to also see, particularly he mentions Bhishma and Drona. So he says, look, it's your grandfather and your teacher. So he wants to see how Arjuna is reacting. And in one sense you can see, or the Acharyas explain, that Krishna wants Arjuna to go through this difficulty also. So why? So that he can speak this Bhagavad Gita. For who? For us. That's the reason. We are the fallen ones, not Arjuna. So using his yoga maya, he is going to bewilder Arjuna. So then Arjuna feels despondent. So in another sense, Krishna is in a sense he's saying, what is the use of looking at your enemy's army? What is the point? You're going to fight anyway, right? What is the point? So he's like jokingly want to instigate Arjuna. Okay. And he addresses Arjuna as Partha. Why? Partha means? No. Son of Pritha, right. Son of Pritha is Partha. So, and why is he doing that? He wants to point out what? Yeah, that Arjuna, you're the son of my aunt. His auntie is Kunti. Okay. So basically he says, behold the Kurus. Means he says, do you want to stop fighting now? Because this is your grandfather here. So he's already, he understands Arjuna's mind. He's saying, so you want to stop fighting?
Is Pritha?
Pritha is another name for Kunti. And he doesn't want to see Arjuna become a coward also. So here, in a sense, Acharyas explained to us that Krishna is jokingly talking to him. Just behold, Partha, you want to see these Kurus, you want to stop fighting now? He's like instigating. Text 26. Tatra pasyat stitan partha Mitrin nata pitamahan Acharyan matulan bratrin Putran pautran sakimstata Swasuran suridas chaiva Translation: there Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers. So many. He sees Bhishma, as Prabhupada gives in the book, Somadatta, and then Kripacharya, Dronacharya, his teachers, and then his maternal side, the uncles like Salya, Shakuni, and then he sees his cousin brothers like Duryodhana, Dushashana, all those people, and the sons of his cousins like Lakshmana, and his own friend who was in Gurukul, Ashwatthama, and well-wishers like Kirtavarma, and so many others. So basically he's seeing only friends and relatives. And he's not seeing them as enemies anymore. So that's starting to bewilder him. Right? So you see, he just sees them as his friends. Very interesting how a person can also change at that time. So sometimes when the principle is very important, because of familial relationship or because of friends, we will not hold the principle. We ignore the principles. Sometimes we say, we cannot do this, do that. Then suddenly your son do it, then you say, it's okay. That's a problem. So this same thing is happening here. So Krishna wants to point out that is the reason what dharma is all about. That you do what Krishna wants you to do. That is dharma. Not what you feel emotionally. It's a hard task. If we are not in control of our senses, then we cannot perform our duties properly. Then we will cheat ourselves, we will cheat others as well. Which is what you see in the society nowadays, right? People cheat one another because they are not in control of senses and they don't understand principles properly. If it feels good, then it's good. That's the principle. Actually, sometimes if it feels bad, it's actually good. So we must know how to understand when and how to apply. Yeah. It's important. It is very important.
A question.
Yeah.
So a few verses ago you said that everybody on the other side is evil-minded because...
No, he wants to see who are with the evil-minded sons. So in a sense, they are also agreeing with Duryodhana. So they are also becoming evil-minded also.
So basically, even if you're good, by being on that side, you are automatically, so he's seeing his uncles, his teachers and stuff over there.
Yes.
But they are also now evil-minded.
Yes. Yeah. Because they are supporting the wrong principle. You understand?
Guilty by association.
Yeah, guilty by association. Yeah. It's just like if you see someone getting robbed and you can stop, but you ignore it, that means you actually sanctioning it. Yes. So therefore, you are also part of the robbery.
Kusanga.
Yeah, kusanga. So this is the problem that if you understand the principle nicely, you will stand for it. And then you will believe it and you will have the strength to stand for it. But if you don't understand principle, if you are in ignorance, then you are subject to your emotional feelings. Which is what you find in most cases, right? People will argue, but it's all emotional. It's not based on facts. Or even if it's facts, these facts may not be of a higher principle. So we have to understand the consequence here. Why they are evil-minded? Because the things they did, whatever they did, every single act they did is, according to the Vedas, they should be put to death already. But they have not been. Alright, so now, let's